Spirit 88.9 and 100.1. That's Chris Tomlin. I Will Rise. I'm Jeremy Morris from the World Ag Expo in Tulare. It's the final day, and we're actually kind of in the final hour now because they officially shut things down at 4 o'clock this afternoon. But I want to have a chance to catch up with another of the organizations that we're privileged to kind of be here with in the vicinity. Tulare Western. We talked to Bill a little bit earlier, but Vivian is with me right now, and you're with the Tulare Western Music Boosters. You have worked with them for how long now?
I have been with the Music Boosters. This is my 8th year.
And how's that been for you? What's the kind of cool thing that you love about helping kids learn and experience music?
You know what? It's amazing that how when you're learning to count and music is just. They learn to count, they learn to, listen. That's a huge part of music. And I'm sure music teachers will tell you lots and lots of all of the, education theory behind all of that stuff. But it's interesting, there's lots of studies that have been done on the arts and how arts help learn. And it's listening. These kids learn to listen. Now, I get the kids out here, which is totally different than being in the classroom.
Yeah.
And they're learning things that they don't teach in school anymore. They're learning how to count money. They're learning how to deal with people. They're learning how to, be polite, and you can't just say whatever you want. Learning some job skills that they wouldn't normally have. You can't, they're getting some job experience. And they really don't like me very much when I say, you know what, get off your cell phone, stop texting. But when they get out in the real world, they can't do that stuff. So this is a little bit of kind of on-the-job training for them, just a little bit.
Yeah, and the thing about it is when it gets crazy at lunchtime, you got to be moving, and you got to stay on these kids because they're not used to working and being fast and efficient.
Right. Although I got to say that we really have terrific kids, and in our booth we put the kids at the window so that the people who are coming, the volunteers who are working here, and the people who are coming from all over the state and the nation to show, that's the face of Tulare Western music over there, those kids at the window. And it's interesting when you get somebody who has, these older people who are have been in band, they want to share their stories. They want to know what instruments these kids play. And then they tell you where they went as a band and what they did and all of that. So,
what instruments have you played?
I have played the clarinet and the flute, and actually several versions of clarinet. The regular B-flat clarinet, the alto clarinet, and the bass clarinet, and the contrabass clarinet, which is about 6 feet tall, but not for years and years.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But music's been an important part of your life.
Yeah, it has. Yeah. Grew up with music, and that was one of the things that naturally my kids went into it. So all three of my kids have been in the music program.
I find it interesting that you talk about the music experience and education really being about teaching the kids to listen, because you do have to hear things pretty clearly and understand what you're hearing in music. By extension of that, if I have a teenager who doesn't hear what I tell them to do, should I get them involved in music if they're not already? Is that going to help them?
Yeah, that's my answer. And it's not just instrumental music. Part of our what we support is the choir too, and you really have to learn to listen in choir because you're blending your voice with the person standing next to you and the people around you. So yeah.
The funds that are raised from Tulare Western being here at the World Ag Expo, how does that help what you do with the music program?
The music programs are very expensive because, unfortunately, the state doesn't give schools enough money to fund everything that they want to do. And so the schools count on groups like the Music Boosters to help pay for instruments and uniforms and the traveling that the kids get to do. So, yeah, it's very expensive to support a program. We have about 200 students at Tulare Western who are involved in the music programs.
And it takes a lot of money to do all these traveling trips and all that kind of stuff. Right. And without the money raised from something like this, they don't get to do very much of that.
They don't. No, they get to, they get to do some things. It's not like they don't get to do anything. And we're very fortunate in Tulare that the administration for the school district is very supportive of the arts. Very supportive of the arts. So the kids would still get to do, local things, but they wouldn't get to go to like Disneyland or, San Diego. They wouldn't get to compete on the level that they get to compete in marching band or go on.
I'm glad you said compete, because when you said Disneyland, I'm thinking I don't want my kids going to Disneyland.
Oh.
But this is part of the program, the music stuff you're talking
right.
about.
Right. And Disneyland, you can't, when you go down to Disneyland and you see the groups that march through and you think, oh, they're just going down there, they got on a bus and they went. That's not true. Disneyland is hard to get into. You have to send in, copies of what all your uniforms for all of your entourage, your girl groups and your flags and your baton twirlers and that whole bit. And then you have to send in an audition tape and yeah, it's quite extensive. It is a big process. It's a big deal to get chosen. And then you might not even get chosen by Disneyland to be in their parade. So when you go down there and you see those groups marching through, they've had to work really hard to earn the way, not only to earn the money to be able to travel there, but they had to be selected to be in that parade.
Vivian is with Tulare Western Music Boosters, and they are one of the nonprofit food vendors that come out every year to the World Ag Expo, and the money that gets raised here from them selling steak sandwiches, which
New York steak sandwiches. Harris Ranch, New York. Let's get it all in there.
Oh, yeah. So
Harris Ranch helps us out a little bit, too.
A big supporter. Yeah. That's great to have that kind of help. And it's all part of this community and the things that we do to sow into our kids and their education. And we're glad to help be a part of that and tell the story of the World Ag Expo and the organizations that are helped through this event each year.